fellas, welcome back. Welcome back to a car park, and behind me is my minivan, and that only means one thing. It's time for our first drive. Jeez, I forgot how small they were in here, these minis. It's been a while since I drove one. Safety first, lads. Seat belts. Not that that's going to save me if we crash. Not a massive fan of these anyway, because they're not recoil. Anyway, I'm waffling. Oh, I'm so excited. So, this is my first drive of the minivan since the restoration. So it's not my first drive ever in the minivan because I've already drove the van previous to me restoring it. So I kind of know how they drive and all that kind of stuff. The only thing I'm interested to see is how it drives now. So I've not had masses and masses of work done to the engine. So the bottom end of the engine is completely fine because the van run absolutely sweet as a nut before I restored it anyway. Because as everyone probably knows, I was only going to paint my engine. Anyway, so in terms of engine work that I've had done, I don't know how much of a difference this will make to how the van actually drives. So it has had an unleaded valve seat conversion done, so the head wasn't converted to run on unleaded fuel, it was a leaded head. So I've had that done. I had that done at MJ Motorsport in Birmingham. Paul Jeffrey sorted that out to me, so thank you very much for that, Paul. And Will rebuilt the head for me with new Cooper S valve springs, and he lapped in all the valves and stuff. Anything you got to do with all that kind of stuff. Will actually did a video on that as well, so I'll leave a link to that description. Well, can't get my words out. I'll leave a link to that video in the description so you can go and check it out if anyone's thinking of doing the same thing to their cylinder head. And also, finally, it has had a stage 2 manifold put on it. I picked that up from Bingley Hall this year, just before coronavirus kicked in. That was the only kind of car show I've actually got to this year. So, yeah, I'm eager to see how that kind of follows through in the driving of the van. So like I said, I'm not anticipating a massive change, but we shall see. Also, I have done a servo delete on the brakes, so I'm now not running a servo, I'm running single line. I have noticed a difference in the brakes, how they perform. So what I've noticed is not as with the brakes, there's not as much throw in the hand control. It's kind of like either on or off, whereas when it was servo assisted, there was kind of a little bit more travel, so you almost had a little bit more control over how the van stopped. But that's maybe me because I've not drove a Mini for 12 months, or it might just be something I'm gonna get used to. So finally, just before we turn it on and get going, I just want to say a massive thank you to Da Vinci. So Mark and Steve, who I deal with at Da Vinci, they initially adapted the van back in 2018 when I first bought it, and those lads have kind of taught me through when I decided to restore the van. So they said, like, you know, if you cut your cables in, we can solder them back together, this, that and the other. So I've managed to put as much of the ECU back in place as possible, fed the clutch cable in, and those lads picked the van up, took it to obviously Liverpool where their head office is, adapted it all up, and got everything fixed up for me. And as well, they didn't even charge me, which I really didn't expect that, lads, and I want to say a massive thank you. And I cannot wait to send the Cooper S to him in the new year, to obviously for him to adapt that and I can get out in that next year, because I'm really itching for that car now. But unfortunately it's the wrong time of year and I don't want to be driving it in the winter time. And this thing probably after today, it's going to get tucked up in the garage and have a cover thrown over it, and then I'll probably see it next year. So in this video, it's going to be basically just a shakedown, trying to find any problems, and I'm not going to touch on anything to do with the clutch and the ECU, how all that works in this video. I'm going to do a whole new video literally designated to that, because I want to get all the facts, and I want to try and get it out there as best as possible. So if anyone does happen to come across a video who's in a similar situation to me, then they'll get a really good understanding as to how the ECU works, and obviously how you can drive with hand controls and electronic clutch as well. So anyway, I'm too excited for this, so let's go. So make sure we're in neutral. If I'm a little bit shady on the gear changes, I do apologise. I drive automatics as daily drivers, so if I do forget to change gear, I'm sure you'll all be screaming at me in the comments. So there we go, there we go. It's not push button start, bit of choke. There we go. Right, like I say, I hope the audio is going to be all right on this, but I shall see. Knock a little bit of choke off. Right, and let's go. Oh, I've missed this van so much. So much. So, first thing I've noticed is my alternator light is on. So, it is probably a loose connection somewhere, or I need to tighten the belt up. I don't know what it is about a Mini. I just absolutely love Minis. Two seconds. Little technical glitch there. Come on. Engine's still cold. Let this warm up a little bit. Right, let's go. Do you know what? If they weren't this temperamental, I probably wouldn't even have a Mini. If you got in them and they just drove, I think they'd be pretty boring. Yeah, so like I say, those brakes, they just don't seem as good as what they do when you've got a servo. So I've only ever drove a Mini that has had servo assisted brakes. So obviously my Mayfair has got servo assisted being 1989. My SPI, my blue Mini, which I've now unfortunately sold, that had a servo, and obviously this had a servo as well. So this is the first Mini I've ever drove that has not had a servo on. So I'll be interested to see, like I say, how the brakes perform. People say that they don't make a massive difference, but for me, I've kind of noticed the difference. Whether it's because I drive with hand controls, I don't know, but I'm sure I'll get used to it. I just love a manual. I just absolutely love. Oh, it's just mint, absolutely mint. The last 12 months have just been pure stress trying to get this van finished, but it's so worth it now. I'm gonna go left here. So yeah, we've got indicators working, which is nice. Feel a little bit quicker, like you've got a little bit more torque. It's a lot faster than my Mayfair that I was out in last week. That's only a 998 automatic. But yeah, this has got way more power than that. I'd be interested to see how fast the compressors as well when I eventually get that thing adapted compared to this. Obviously I know they're both 1275s, but that's a different kind of setup. So everything's good, temperature's all good. I've not got an oil pressure gauge at the moment. So I'm probably going to replace that with like a rev counter or maybe even a clock. I tell you what, it's driving absolutely mint. I'm really, really impressed. One thing I've not missed is that noise. Now I don't know how noisy it is when we're kind of driving around that sort of, we're doing 30 at the moment, because it is a 30 zone. But when you get on the motorway, this van just goes to another level. When you're all right, you're all right up until about 50. 50's nice, but when you get above 50, it really, really just starts to scream. So when we was going down to London to Brighton last year with Tom, when we got to the kind of like the 50 zones, the roadworks, it was absolutely mint because you could actually hear yourself think. I don't think I've got anything else to report really. Apart from these seats are super, super comfy. Really, really happy with them. I've missed this so much. I've probably said this a million times, but yeah, really, really good. Let's test my heater, see if that works. Yeah, heater's all working. I'm going to turn that off so you guys can obviously hear what I'm saying. So I'm just going to go down to a bit of a dual carriageway so I can put my foot down a little bit. I'll pull on my hand control before one of my mates will pick me up and say, "How are you putting your foot down, Tony?" I absolutely love this van. The clocks have actually gone back as well today, so I don't know what time it's going to go dark. My watch says 5 o'clock, but I think it's an hour fast, so I think it's only 4 o'clock. Yeah, it does pick up now. Really, really does pick up. It's probably that manifold and all the head being cleaned up that's made a massive difference, because I believe that's where all the power comes from in an A series engine, is your head. I might even take you guys on the motorway just so you can suffer with me and see how loud it is. So if anyone's thinking about buying a minivan, definitely buy one, but you've just got to be aware that they're nowhere near as refined as a normal Mini. Maybe a Mark 1's quite loud, but I know when I was out in the Mayfair last week, like I said earlier, it's just so refined, that car, compared to a van, because you've got obviously all these things banging about, you've got very, very little sound deadening, but it makes it fun. It does make it fun. Exhaust doesn't seem to be banging as much either. Check my wipers working. Let's go. So I'm just about to pull onto the motorway in a minute, and you guys will see how loud it is. I'm going to try and get up to 70, but we're probably approaching, saying that, it's not rush hour now, being 4 o'clock, and it is a Sunday. Right, okay, so that's first drive done. I'm pleasantly surprised actually, there's not as many problems as I thought there would be. It's now the week after actually I did the first drive. I've just been majorly busy, I've not had a chance to do it. But I've had a bit of a prod around as well. So my alternator belt isn't tight, that needs tightening up. And I've got a few other bits and bobs that I need to do underneath the engine bay. I need to reconnect the breathers. So I've got a breather, the crankcase breather, and then the timing case breather. They need bringing up together and then filtering into the carb or something. So I need to nip to mini spares for that as well. And that, in terms of the engine's pretty much it. I've got the exhaust to sort out as well, but I'm going to pick up a new back box for the exhaust because I've also got a new centre pipe which I never got around to fitting because we couldn't separate the back box from the centre pipe. So I'm just going to buy a full new system for it, and then I'll probably fit that when I end up doing the subframe, probably over winter time this year anyway. Inside the car I've got the wiring that just needs tidying up and cable tying underneath the dash, because I specifically said to the lads when they kind of sorted all the ECU out, I said just connect it all back up and I'll obviously tidy it all up. So I'm going to wrap it in that tape, sorry, Tessa tape. So I'm going to wrap it in that. I need to refurbish the back wheel on the van because when I've took the silver cover off, it's chipped the paint, because I'm now going to run the van without any hubcaps on it because I actually quite like the look of it. I don't think vans had hubcaps on them anyway, so I want to try and keep it a little bit commercial looking. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty impressed. I spoke with a detailer today as well, who's gonna machine polish and ceramic coat the van for me as well. But I'm probably gonna do that starting next year. I can't see any point in doing it now because it means driving it all the way over to Warrington to get it done, then to bring it all the way back when it's 1st of November now. So they're gonna start putting salt on the roads and stuff soon. So I'm in no rush, and put it this way, the van ain't going anywhere because everyone is now in lockdown from I think Thursday next week. So yeah, I don't know what that means for content. I'll either be extremely busy because last time we went into lockdown work just went crazy busy, or I don't know whether customers won't want to see, you know, if this and that, but I don't know, I'm waffling. But yeah, overall I'm super happy. So I'll see you next time with something else. I don't know what else I'm going to do. I need to have a bit of a tidy up in the garage. So I'm currently having the back garden done, so I've got stuff all down the side there, all over there, so it's a little bit crazy at the minute. But until next time guys, stay safe and I'll catch you in the next one.